My guest, she's an entertainment lawyer and herself a former litigator. Lisa, thanks so much for taking the time for us in Canada as we follow this case. What do you make of the verdict, your reaction?
Thank you for having me. Honestly, I am very surprised at the verdict. As a lawyer, I do understand the charges. I do understand how to apply the law. And I also understand that is a very high bar and a very difficult charge for a layperson to understand. So I always say what is legal is not always right, and what's right is not always legal. So am I surprised? Yes. But as lawyers, we are also trained to accept the jury's last word, and the jury has spoken, and we stand by that, and we respect their professional opinion, and we thank them for their service. But I personally and professionally do not agree with the verdict. I do see how they could have reached RICO. I'm very surprised on the dismissal of the the not finding guilty on the sex trafficking instance, because you only needed one instance of force, fraud, or coercion for each alleged victim. And so the fact that the jurors did not find Sean Combs guilty on that was very surprising for me, because that is, again, you have to have 12 unanimous jurors, and that is the most difficult. But the elements, in my opinion, were there.
You are a lawyer based in the U.S. How significant is this verdict?
It's a very significant verdict culturally. It is a very significant verdict in terms of understanding and setting the bar with RICO. The SDNY has a 95% conviction rate, and it is well known in the United States that the feds don't generally bring a case unless they do feel that they can meet the burden of proof and get 12 jurors to unanimously agree. That is why it was so surprising to me. But again, when you're looking at these charges and trying to get 12 laypersons, people from various walks of life to agree on the charge of RICO, which is very difficult to understand from a layperson's point of view, and try and apply that with 50 pages of jury instructions, I can understand how that would be very difficult for them to apply, and difficult to apply not only the elements to get to RICO, meaning that you have the commercial and human resources of the business used in furtherance of the alleged crime of sex trafficking, but then you have to go down the rabbit hole of the predicates. And we had 8 of those: arson, kidnapping, witness tampering, forced labor. So that was very surprising to me. But what it looks like is that the jurors were not able to separate the fact that these women were in a consensual long-term relationship with Combs, and could not understand that if you were going back and forth to someone, how that is consent, how that is coercion. But when you look at the statutory definition of coercion under under the New York law, the statutory definition is very clear in terms of asking someone and removing their ability to freely leave, whether that's from taking the passport, which happened in Cannes, or attempting to blackmail them or force them to stay through coercion in terms of threatening to release the freak-off tapes. That to me was very surprising. So that is why I am surprised by the verdict in many instances. But again, I respect what the jurors have come back with and said. But I do not agree. And I do think it's a setback for women in general, in terms of believing women the first time.
Lisa Bonner joining us from Bangkok in Thailand. Well, she is away from the U.S. She's an American lawyer and a former litigator, entertainment attorney as well. Lisa, thanks so much for this. We'll talk again soon.
Thank you so much for having me.
And stay with us.